This week on Deep Space Pride, a gay Star Trek podcast, it's Anniversary Palooza Week with all kinds of anniversaries of Star Trek shows that began many, many years ago. And we also have a couple of Lower Decks episodes to catch up on. So thanks for joining us. Hey, Johnson.
Hey, Mike.
How are you?
I am doing okay today.
Yeah.
Doing all right. How about you?
I am good. Yeah. I got a run in today, a nice 4-mile run, my longest in the training so far. So I feel good.
I don't think I've ever run more than 3 miles in my life, like in one sitting, in one running, in one instance.
Sitting and running don't really go together all that well.
It's just what I say for work. It's like in one sitting, like
yes,
whatever.
I understand.
Yes, I understand. But
happy Next Generation birthday.
Is it today?
It is today. Yes.
Oh, okay.
September 28th, 35 years ago.
Oh, okay.
So I was grounded 35 years ago and couldn't watch it, but fortunately we had a VCR and I could record it, which my parents allowed me to do. And I have no idea what I was grounded for either. So that's not even part of the story.
I was what, 5, 6?
Okay. All right.
I didn't watch it when I was, as you may recall, I didn't watch it. I didn't watch season 1 and 2. I didn't start till season 3.
Right. When you were,
and I watched Encounter Farpoint
old, 8 years old, I guess.
Yes, correct.
Yes.
But I did watch it on VHS. So
okay. Well, so
yes.
You're old enough to remember VHS.
Of course.
Yes.
Of course.
So yeah, no, looking back at all the promotional pictures from it that were online today, I was like, oh, I remember all those. Some of those were in the Star Trek The Next Generation magazine, which at one point I had all the episodes,
yeah,
all the issues for.
Yeah, I didn't start until The Communicator. In terms of the magazine.
No, I was a Star Trek The Next Generation magazine collector, and I had all of those. And then Deep Space Nine had their own magazine, and I collected all of those. And those are lost in the trails of time and like
the trails of time somewhere.
Yes.
Well, about Starlog. Did you do Starlog?
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
of course. I had a couple of issues of Starlog. I didn't collect them, but.
I don't know that I was a collector, but I picked them up regularly. And actually, that's where I first learned about like phase 2 of Star Trek. That whole like they were before the movie, the motion picture, they were going to bring back a new series of Star Trek. And
right.
So that's where I found out about that.
Where did you pick those up? At Walden Books? I did Walden Books. Walden Books was my jam.
Walden Books. So in Maine, we had Mr. Paperback.
What the fuck is Mr. Paperback? Is that a chain or is that
no, it's a chain. So it was a chain in Maine anyway. Maybe in like northern New England. Maybe there was some in New Hampshire and Vermont, but that was beyond my purview. But Walden Books was only in Portland, Maine, which was about 2 hours. Roughly 2 hours away from me. So on the off chance that I did go to Portland, I would go into a Walden Books.
I loved Walden Books.
So yeah.
I would literally sit there and just read.
Oh, wow.
One of those people.
Well, yes, you grew up in New York City, so you had all the things here at your fingertips.
Well, Staten Island.
Right. But you know, it's still New York City-ish. Wait, did you go to... So there was a mall in Staten Island that you would go to...
Correct.
Yeah, see.
Yes.
A mall for me was a strip mall. It wasn't... Although, there was the Bangor Mall. That was one, you know, also a place, but it's all one level. And it was like 2 corridors, which were a lot of stores for, you know, a main shop. But
what is that huge mall in Jersey? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh,
American Dream. We should go. They
oh,
have like an
yeah.
indoor like skiing facility,
Hmm.
water park, indoor water park, laser tag, escape rooms. It's
Oh,
insane. Yeah, we should go.
you had me at laser tag. You
Yeah.
had me at laser tag. I would go and play laser tag in a heartbeat.
I will go. It's just forever. I love laser tag.
Yeah, no, I haven't played laser tag in forever. But an escape room is also fun for, if you want to do more cerebral activities.
Yeah.
Laser tag is definitely running around and
Yeah, it's running around screaming. I would be screaming and
yes.
crying.
Yes, I could imagine you being screaming and trying. So,
Yes.
so it's been, yeah, so it's the anniversary of The Next Generation, which
Hmm.
obviously was the beginning of your fandom, not
Correct.
necessarily this episode, but I mean, I did watch the original series on rerun before The Next Generation, but I was super excited about The Next Generation, obviously.
Hmm.
And when you see a kid on the bridge, namely Will Wheaton, who we
Right.
talked about talked to a few episodes ago.
Hmm.
Um, that was really exciting as a kid to see a kid your age on the bridge of the Enterprise.
Right,
So
right.
that was cool. But that is not the only anniversary. Just a mere 2 days ago, we had the 21st anniversary. It's now legal. Enterprise can now legally drink in most states.
Right.
But
But you don't remember where
Enterprise,
you were for
I
Enterprise.
don't remember where I was for Enterprise. I really don't. I wish I could, but that was sort of like so I do. So I think that everyone kind of knows that I'm a big Star Trek music from that period person. I had all of the albums on CD um, at that time, but when Enterprise came out, you've got the Next Generation theme song, you've got Deep Space Nine's theme song, you have
Right.
Voyager's theme song, and then you get to Enterprise.
I know. Enterprise
And
was such a dark horse in so many ways. I don't think we really talked about it, but I was never really a fan of the whole idea that they want to strip Star Trek from the name of the series. I really
right.
didn't like that.
Yeah.
And obviously they were trying to make it more for broad consumption
Right.
because they were thinking that by doing that they would be opening up a larger fan base. But I thought that was ridiculous and dumb.
Yeah. And they
Like
backed
who are you fooling? I don't understand.
right. And then they backtracked 2 seasons later and added it back
Correct.
on. So
Correct.
but they never changed the theme song. The
No,
only
they
time
did
they
not.
changed the theme song was on the Mirror Darkly episodes.
I think in season three they added like extra percussion or something
Oh,
to,
maybe.
to the theme
Maybe.
song. It was like
But
there were extra instruments. Yeah.
it was still this,
It was no, but it was the same. It was the
yeah, it
same.
was the same, yes. And really, Archer's theme is sort of the real true theme of Enterprise, and they should have just used that for the opening credits, but
Yeah.
they did not. So yeah, 21 years ago. So I think,
Did
that
you
was
like Broken Bow? Did you like the first episode? I didn't
I thought
mind it.
I didn't mind it. I think,
It was interesting.
yeah, for
It is
sure.
better than Encounter at Farpoint, I thought.
I don't remember if I compared it to Encounter at Farpoint. Um, I think for that generation of shows, I still think that Deep Space Nines was the best
Oh,
out of
absolutely.
all
Yes.
of them.
No,
So
DS9, one of the best.
Emissary was definitely one of the best
One of the
was the
best.
best premiere out of those four shows that ran over 20 years back in the day. What
I
we
think
now call
I
Legacy
would still
Trek.
call it one of the best Star Trek premieres in general.
Yeah, yeah. Strange New Worlds would be up there for me though now.
Strange New Worlds is good, but Emissary it was just so cerebral and philosophical. It's
Yeah,
so different and still
yeah, it
very different
was.
compared to Star Trek
Yep.
nowadays. And it still stands head to head with the best of those. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. No.
So yeah,
I mean, we named a whole podcast after our favorite
correct,
show.
correct.
So, yes. So And I think, what did we determine? Are we now, do we have more episodes now of our podcast than they had of Enterprise? Was it 96 that they got
Yeah,
to?
they didn't reach 100. It was like 96, 97. So what is this? Is this episode 98 for us?
Yeah, this is 98. So we have released more episodes than Enterprise.
There we
So
go.
the anniversaries don't stop there. So last Saturday, a mere 5 days ago, was the fifth anniversary of Discovery, which launched modern or the new Trek, whatever you want to
Mm-hmm.
call it, this new resurgence of Trek that
Uh-huh.
now has 5 years later, we have five different shows with others in pre-production yet to
Mm-hmm.
be announced. Why? I
Right.
do not
Mm-hmm.
know. What are we holding out for here? Tell us something, Alex Kurtzman,
I
please.
know.
Give us
Well,
something to latch onto for the future.
while Comic Con's right around the corner, New York Comic Con's right around the corner. I don't know if they're going to announce anything like big like that there.
Yeah, no, so we are going to Friday, New York
Correct. We're
Comic
going. We're
Con,
going on Friday when nothing's happening.
right? But
My PTO
Saturday
was
is.
approved, thankfully.
Oh,
So
that's
here we
good.
go. So I can
I still
go.
I still need to do that, but then again, I everyone's off on Fridays except for me and one or two other people. So, it'll be fine if I take off. So I'm not worried about my PTO getting approved, but the panel for Star Trek Universe is not until Saturday.
I know.
So that's kind of a bummer. But
I
yeah, I
know.
don't
That's
I don't feel
sad.
like they ever. So my recollection, I was there in 2017, just 5 years ago, yeah, when
Mm-hmm.
Discovery was on stage and Michelle Yeoh popped up out of the audience and said she wanted to be brought back because we had seen enough episodes at that point
Mm-hmm.
where we had seen the first two, and obviously she had been killed. So,
Right.
and they did
Oh,
not
yeah.
let that leak out. So when you see her later on in the mirror universe,
Right.
you are completely shocked because so they
Right.
never let that out because
Right.
she's
Right.
like,
Right.
I want to come back, bring Giorgio back, and
Mm-hmm.
they did, but it was a great little thing that I'll remember. She jumped up out of she pretended she had a hat on and she pretended she had a question, and then it was the cast screamed, and it was really
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
But that was back when we barely knew the cast. Like we had a couple episodes to I don't
Mm.
even know that. I don't remember who all was up there. I mean, obviously Stamets was up there and Tilly and Michael.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think Jason Isaacs was even there. But I don't
Oh, I
remember.
would
I
want
don't
Jason
remember.
Isaacs to come back.
I don't remember if Wilson Cruz was up there. He might have been.
Well, this is
Uh,
my first Comic Con
yes.
ever of any sort. So I feel that I'm going to hate it because of the crowds, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, yeah, I don't know what to expect with the crowds at this one. But also I will say that the Javits Center is
It's
huge.
really big. I mean, it's not as big as wherever they have San Diego Comic Con, but it's still massive.
Right, yeah, but it's huge. It's huge, and it's felt crowded pre-pandemic. I don't know how busy it'll be, but I'm looking forward to it. I particularly enjoy the showroom floor. You know, poking around in the
I'm just
nooks
gonna
and
follow you wherever you
crannies.
go because I don't really have anything that I want to see. So
Yeah, no, it'll be fun. We'll see a lot of stuff. Yeah, it'll be fun.
sure,
I will have fun because I love trying to find something unique that you can only get at Comic Con.
I will
Um,
have fun.
you will have fun. That is a
Yes,
great
I will.
attitude. Can you keep that attitude for
Yes, I will have so much
another
fun.
10
Fun will be
days?
had. Fun will now commence, as Seven would like to say.
Yes, there we go.
Yes,
Yes.
I will say that before going in. Fun will now commence.
Yes.
Yes, I'll make a scene.
So it's Disco's fifth anniversary
Do you remember
also.
where you were when you watched the disco premiere?
I mean, I remember I was in New York. I was at my ex's place where I was living. That's what I remember. But more importantly about that whole thing is somehow after that premiere, I stumbled upon Discovering Trek. as a podcast. And so
Oh,
that sort of got
interesting.
me into like it never really vibed. I listened to the old StarTrek.com podcast with I don't want to remember his name. I've blocked him out, but I hated
I
that
listened to it as well. I don't remember his name. Yeah,
podcast.
I didn't mind him.
Oh, he was horrible. He was
Oh, okay.
so horrible.
Okay.
Yeah, he just, yes, I just don't, he was not good. He was, it was sort of, I felt sort of an embarrassment to fans because he was just an idiot.
Oh, wow. Okay. Strong feelings
I don't
there.
know. I really didn't have, I had strong feelings negatively about him.
You
But
do have
anyway,
strong feelings.
I do.
Goodness.
Yes, and he
You have
may have even,
notes.
I
A
have a lot of notes, and
lot of notes.
most of them underline the fact that he should not be on the Star Trek podcast. But anyway,
Well,
he may have even, I don't think he did. I don't know who did I can't remember whether he did the panel at Comic-Con, but I
oh,
feel like
really?
I feel like you've seen him do a panel at one of the Comic-Cons. It may have been that one. Or may have been another panel, another year. But anyway, I did not like him. But then I stumbled upon Discovering Trek, and that's when I got to, know Bill and Dan. I actually
Mhm.
left them a message on their website, on the website at one point, which they used in their show.
Oh, wow.
And so that's how I found out about fan sets, and I found fan
Mm.
sets at New York Comic Con,
Oh, wow.
and
All the
that
pieces
started
have fallen into
my,
place.
yeah, so that was all part of that experience. I actually think
Mhm.
they went to New York Comic Con that year, that 2017, that Discovery had their panel. So
Oh.
yeah, so that sort of began my, where I found better listening for
Hmm.
podcasts on Star
Hmm.
Trek.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
And yes, and here we are 5 years later, and we are close to releasing our 100th episode of Deep Space Pride on
Yeah.
the network that Bill and Dan run, from me listening to Discovering
Right.
Trek all those years ago.
We've all circled back to the beginning.
We have.
Thankfully.
That's what you call landing the plane, Johnson. That
Okay.
is
All
when
right.
you land the plane. So
Got it. Got it. Thanks for educating me.
yeah, that's a perfect example of landing the plane. Anyway,
Uh-huh.
so the only other news of note this week, right, is the fact that, and we're tier. It's almost too hard to say this news out loud, right? That Star Trek 4 with the JJA cast
Yeah.
has been taken off Paramount's
Shocking.
schedule. So
Shocking.
yes, I've gone through many boxes of tissues at this point. No, not really surprising, given
No, not at all. It's ridiculous.
not, given that their director up and left, what, a month ago?
And now the cast has contracts in place.
Yes.
Like, what? Whatever.
So sadly, we are not going to get the Wales version from the JJ universe, the Wales story from
my
the
God.
JJ universe. So there's that
Sadly.
disappointing news. But I do really love the cast. I mean, the cast is a strong cast. I mean, really, they're all, when they started that journey in 2009, they were all basically unknowns.
They were all very fresh.
Yeah. So, Zoe Saldana is big now. Who's the guy in The Boys now? I can picture him, but I can't think of his name. And this is
Carl Urban.
Yes, Carl Urban is big. I mean, they're starting to film, I think, season 5 of The Boys, right? Or 4?
Season 4.
Season 4 of The Boys.
I finished season 3 finally. I actually really liked it.
Oh, that's good. I never went back to it because season 2 came out right at the beginning of the pandemic, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they've had season 3.
Yeah, I watched part of season 3. I stopped, but then went back to it, and I'm glad I did. It was really good.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So Zachary Quinto is a lot bigger. He's done some American Horror Story, a lot of audio narration that I've listened to, which he's really good at. Yeah. Sadly, Chekhov is no longer with us. That was sad. Yeah,
Anton.
Anton Yelchin.
Yeah.
John Cho is huge, right?
I don't know
He's
if he's like huge. He's
but
moderate.
he's yeah. I mean, he's released a bunch of
He's
stuff.
had he's had a few
Yeah,
big milestones
yeah,
after 2009 Star Trek.
yeah.
Yeah.
And obviously Chris Pine has, um,
Yes, his career has
become
definitely taken off. Yes.
he's Wonder Woman's lover, among other things.
Yes.
Jack Ryan, I want to say, he played Jack Ryan in one of the movies, right?
Did he? I do not recall.
Mm.
Well, now he's in that Harry Styles movie,
Oh, what movie is this?
like something Darling.
Oh, okay.
Do you know what I'm talking about? It was a lot of talk about it.
No, I mean, I think I know what you're vaguely. I've seen some posters or something
Don't
for
worry,
it.
darling.
What's it called?
Don't worry, darling.
Don't worry. No. I do not know very much about this at all.
There was a lot of gossip coming out of, there was just controversy and such coming out of, I think, Toronto or Venice, sorry, the Venice Film Festival.
Oh,
I don't know, whatever.
But he's definitely a much bigger
I mean,
star
no, the
now.
whole cast, yes, they've definitely they've gone on to do bigger and better things in Star Trek.
Yes.
It's a long and short of it.
So we are leaving out the English chap, who I cannot think of his name right now, which is horrible. You know me, I'm not. This is not me being unprepared. This is me. I don't know names very well. You're much better at names.
What English chap? What who?
Who's done all of those zombie movies, independent zombie movies. He plays Scotty.
Simon Pegg.
Right, Simon Pegg, yes. So yeah, I'm not very good with names of but today I was running, like I said earlier, and I actually listened to the Into Darkness soundtrack while I was running. So
okay.
The
Into Darkness soundtrack is good.
I mean, Michael
Giacchino.
Thank you. I never can also say his name.
I don't know what I'm saying right. I just say Giacchino.
Oh, I think it's
you just say with confidence and move on.
Okay, there we go. I think it's Giacchino, but anyway.
I've moved on already.
Cappuccino. But anyway, his music is really great. And
yes. There's some really good tracks on there.
There are. So yes, I think last week I listened to Star Trek Beyond's soundtrack while I was running.
I mean, all those movies have good soundtracks, honestly.
They do, yeah. It's actually one of their best parts, unlike Enterprise. But anyway, we digress.
But yes, going back to the news item, no one's surprised.
No. It's unfortunate. I mean, we would definitely love to have another movie from that cast. They're an amazing cast, so why wouldn't we like to have another movie? Flaring lights and all of those wonderful things that JJ loves to throw into movies. But he must be too busy to direct Star Trek 4. So, I mean, he's also blown up.
He's also a busy guy.
Yeah. What is he working on now? I wonder. We should call him up and ask him what he's working on right now.
I don't know what he's working on right now. I haven't heard as much about his current projects in production.
Yeah.
There's probably something.
Maybe.
Well, there's supposed to be another Cloverfield movie, so that's under Bad Robot.
Oh, okay.
Or I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not a huge Cloverfield fan. No.
Oh, no. I like it.
So and then that alien from Cloverfield appeared in what I think appeared in Star Trek 2009.
Oh yeah.
The whole thing about his aliens always seem to appear.
Yes, I recall us having a conversation about.
Yes, we've in the past had this conversation about JJ's monsters,
and there were
similarities.
There were notes.
There's similarities across universes. Yes, thank you, thank you, JJ. So yeah, that's pretty much the news this week. We've got a couple of weeks of Lower Decks to chat about.
Yeah.
But one of the things I did want to talk about, because we did take last week off, sort of unexpectedly, but also you were traveling for work for a good 6 or 7 days.
Yeah.
So that also prompted a little bit of a break
Mm-hmm.
in our schedule. And so moving forward, I think you and I talked about it, talked to our executive producers. We're probably going to go to a more bi-weekly schedule with life coming back to a lot of busyness, a lot going on in life and everything. It's
well, Biden did say the pandemic is over.
Oh, well, thank you. So life has returned to normal.
Correct.
But yeah, there's a lot going on in life, and I think that it's just I didn't mind having the week off. It was actually a nice breather. And
I was so busy at work with work stuff that I needed the time off.
Yeah. So I think that that's something that going forward we're gonna do, as we'll come out bi-weekly on Fridays still, but
maybe we can revisit that, especially once Picard comes back. We can see how we're feeling.
Yeah,
because there will be much more talk about, I think, once Picard returns, and there might be a lot to pack into one. Like doing 2 episodes in one podcast episode might be a lot. We'll see.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we'll kind of have to see. See what the future holds. But we don't have it, other than Picard in 2023, we really only have Prodigy coming up next. We're halfway through.
Prodigy's next, and then there's the 1 day overlap with the finale of Lower Decks, and then Prodigy takes us into January, and think there will be a month off, perhaps.
That's if we don't know how many episodes of Prodigy. Are we getting the final 10 from?
I guess it's not really. I think people are assuming it's going to be the 10, especially given the time period between the end of October and the start of Picard, but it's hard to say.
Yeah. Hard to know what's coming up next.
Yeah.
So, Alex, if you want to reach out to us and just let us know, we'd appreciate it so we can tell everybody.
Yes, I'm sure he'll get right on that.
Yes, he should. Well, let's that's everything. I think for now, let's jump into some Lower Decks conversations, and we're going to start out with episode 4, which was titled Room for Growth.
I can't believe they're sharing that one room.
God, they just put 4 beds in there, and now it's like their private party quarters.
Oh, why didn't we think of that? I don't know. We were tired.
Hey, why didn't you guys rev that room for me?
We didn't think you would want it.
Of course I wanted it. What are you talking about? We all wanted it.
Because, beta shifters stick together.
We still could have.
Well, we kind of got caught up in the all for one for all spirit.
That's the definition of one for all. One room for all of us.
Hey, relax, man.
I am relaxed. I just got back from a spa. Listen, I heard that Delta Shift is having a private party tonight, and we gotta get on that list. We can go back to the terminal.
No.
Come on, you said it was fun.
Not that fun.
So, Johnston, Room for Growth. We get some Tiana, and Shaxx.
Oh, yeah.
Moments.
That was so funny.
We have some Delta Shift. We have the alien who's like Arax from the animated series. So our second of this alien, which I don't know the name of the alien.
I don't know the alien.
But they seem
on the
to
Dove.
be. Yes, on the Dove.
Mm-hmm.
We have an engineering crew that doesn't want a vacation.
Apparently. Yeah.
Silly people. I mean, why wouldn't they want a vacation? And a very stressed out captain who has apparently put on her 3rd mask.
I know. So that was one of my favorite parts of the episode. So I actually think, I know a lot of people do not like masks. I do think that it was interesting. Like, it was different. I'm not saying it was a great episode, but it's like season 7 TNG. There were a lot of random episodes, but it was very experimental and different. And I have to give kudos for the more episodic one-offs where it's just like so random, and you can see that they want to try something different because they always stay back in the same formulas. And I have to appreciate that they tried something very different and very unique.
And you're talking about season 7 of Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Correct. That masked episode, the original TNG episode, which inspired the teaser of this Lower Decks episode.
And sort of the after the credits part, which prompted the whole mandatory vacation.
Right.
Yeah, I laughed at that. I thought that was pretty...
It was so funny. Yeah. I immediately need the reference, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, anyone who's watched any Next Generation knows of masks.
Well, I mean, I think for some people it might be obscure because it's not one of the best episodes.
Yeah, no, it's definitely
But
not.
obviously for our audiences like us, it's like, got it. We know what this is about.
Yes, definitely. So we have that whole, and I liked that it wasn't just like it just happened and then we, after the teaser it's like nothing happened. There was actually
there's like
the carry through of the episode.
There were consequences, because sometimes it is like one-offs like that where it's like, just a throwaway, but in this case it actually set up the rest of the episode, which I liked.
Right. Yes. Yeah. Yes, it did. And which was really, really nice to see. And then the side mission. So while Rutherford and the engineering crew get to go to the Dove for vacation, the rest of our Lower Decks crew plans a Mission Impossible / Ocean's 11 sort of, not really a heist, but adventure through the depths of the Cerritos to get to this one offline computer.
It's so weird. I didn't quite follow the logic there. Like basically there's like only one terminal located in the random section of the ship that they would be able to access this lottery. It was like, what? Like,
yes, okay. It was sort of off the network, right? It was, so and by the map, I would say it was right below the bridge, basically. But
wait, I thought it was in the engineering section in the secondary hull.
Oh, is it? Oh, because I thought the map was leading them to the very top, up to the top of the ship. But I think they were going from the top of the ship, from the saucer section, all the way down through the nacelles and into the weird deflector section. Right. Okay. Yes, that makes more sense now. Thank you for clearing that up for me, because clearly I did not know what was going on.
It was sometimes hard because like sometimes the orientation, it's like because you have no idea where they are. And it's also like the configuration of the ship. Sometimes it does seem very odd. Like, it's like, where are they? Like, they're in like this massive, like, section under the aeroponics space or something. It's like, okay, like, where is this?
Yeah, exactly. And, just going back to the very first episode of Lower Decks, there's when they're showing Tendi the map of the ship, there's where the bridge is, and then they go all the way to the bottom of the saucer section, saying this is where we are. Mm-hmm. So I thought so that's also why it's confusing, because I guess they did start at the top of the saucer section.
Right. No, the California class is a little weird because there's all this empty space in between the secondary hull and the saucer section, and it's kind of odd, like in terms of navigating that. So
so they go on this little adventure, and all because Tendi overhears Delta Shift talking about the lottery, the room lottery. And so
did you ever have that in college or anything?
Every year. After freshman year you get assigned a room, and then after that in the spring
there's a lottery.
There's a lottery, and you picked your roommates, and you picked what you were in the lottery, and you picked a room.
I only did that 1 year. So for my senior year, not to sidetrack us, but my sophomore and junior years, I was able to get into, because we had suites, college suites,
sure,
and I was able to get into existing with some friends. Like I was friends with some upperclassmen, so they were able to just get me in. But then senior year, we had to go into a lottery. And I remember there was a lot of stress about it. I wasn't able to, I think we had to be somewhere. I wasn't able to go. But then I went with, I had some friends deal with it. And I remember us celebrating once we got the kind of suite we wanted. like the five of us. We were all ecstatic. It was
Nice.
such a thing.
Yeah, I mean, so I was in a triple my freshman year, and then our
A triple
a triple, three of us
in one room.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I had a single my
Oh,
freshman
yeah.
year.
No, there are no singles freshman year. Because you're assigned a dorm. You're randomly assigned a dorm, and you're randomly assigned roommates.
Some randos.
Yep. And so I had a triple my
How was
freshman.
that?
Yeah, it is what it is. It is
You gotta get over it.
Yeah, and then I got so our hallway really bonded. So in our dorm it was 4 floors, and there was an A hallway and a B hallway, and our third floor B hallway really bonded. And so most of us stayed together as a hallway for the most part.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
But yeah, we all
now I'm
moved.
reminiscing about college in my head.
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. And so I ended up so in this case, I got a junior. I guess he was a junior at this point. Picked up 2 of us as sophomores, and basically was trying to get this 2-room suite. Are these 2 rooms that were joined, which we didn't go back and forth between the rooms, but they were essentially, that's how the room was grouped. And so the 2 sophomores had 1 room, and he had this other room that was a single. So that was my sophomore year. And then my junior year, I got a single across from one of my good friends. But then I think I switched to a different floor. Something happened. Maybe I was in a double, and then a single opened up. I can't remember the beginning of my junior year. This is also the time in which I was going through the pre-med crisis of, organic chemistry and all that hell. And
you took Orgo?
I did. Yes, 2 semesters. Because I was pre-med for a year and a half in college.
Wait, did I know this?
I don't know.
You an English major, right?
I ended up with an English degree, yes.
You were pre-med for a year and a half?
Yes.
I don't know you. You're a stranger. I don't know anything about your life. Oh my God. You took Orgo? I hated Orgo.
Oh, I did too.
I about this like years ago.
I got a C- and a D in Orgo.
I got a C+ in Orgo.
Yeah.
It was the
worst.
Which are essentially... I never understood it. I crammed for it. I tried to.
Yeah.
I just did not understand. I did not understand.
Yeah.
I didn't understand the configurations of the molecules. I was like, I don't get it. I don't understand why this is here. And then I remember like my tutor just being like, it's how it is. And I'm like, that's not good enough. And I never got it. Well,
for those of you who might not know, organic chemistry is the cutthroat class for pre-med students. So it's sort of like if you do well in it, you can continue in pre-med. If you do,
pre-med wasn't cutthroat. It was like a rite of passage. It was like
no, it was cutthroat. And at Notre Dame, it was cutthroat. It was like if you didn't do well in Orgo, you might as well give up any hopes of ever becoming a doctor.
Oh, that's what interesting.
And so I
you got a C- and a D. So
I got a C- and D. Yes,
I passed.
I mean, technically I did too, but
yeah. Wait, is D passing?
Yeah, it's not an F. I didn't fail. I did fail cell biology though.
Oh, okay.
So
okay. You got an F?
I got an F in cell
That's
biology.
Really bad.
Yeah, no,
that's really bad.
I have no qualms about sharing that at all. Yes, I have many failures in my life, and that is one of them. Yes, that actually officially put the nail in the coffin of my pre-med career, or my hopes for becoming a doctor. So yes. So anyway, yeah. So junior year, I had a single. I think on 2 different floors. I think I switched rooms and got a single that opened up, and then senior year, I was in a single because I was an RA, but I was on the first floor. So, yeah. But yes, room lotteries. All this to say that that is sort of a college rite of passage, tangent. And here we are, reminiscing about it after watching Lower Decks,
But that was the thing. So when they had the option of cheating, when they got to the console, and they're like, "Oh, it's just one room," immediately I was like, why don't you guys just share the room? Like, you know, just put 4 beds in the room.
I didn't make that
that.
jump. I did not think of that.
I
But
immediately thought about that. So then I was like, wait, why are you not thinking about it? And then, of course, Delta Shift
does that.
Yeah, we're all sharing this one room, bitches.
Yep.
And then I think it was Rutherford that was like, why don't you guys think about this?
And I did enjoy the fact that whole thing. So we get to see what the corridor where they're sleeping, where their quarters, quote unquote quarters are, their bunks are. And it was much busier than it's ever been in all of the seasons so far. I mean, it seemed very much like overpacked, like people were packed in. So the Cerritos has picked up some crew apparently, and now it's busier and fuller than ever, I guess. But so that lended credence to the whole idea that a room lottery was a big deal, especially for lower deckers, which I thought was a great thing that we hadn't seen before. We hadn't seen it really been that busy.
It kind of looks fun, but I could also see how it's very annoying.
Yes, absolutely. But
it's like fun for 5 minutes, and then it's like, actually, this is actually terrible.
Yeah. So you're right. After the fact, you're kind of like, oh yeah, they could have. Why wouldn't they have all shared? And somehow,
I really thought about that. I was like,
and Rutherford had that idea, but he was busy relaxing on the Dove. So and it was kind of funny because even at the end, he seemed stressed out. Like it was a little bit more, his reaction to them was a little more intense. Like, oh, the vacation, quote unquote vacation, didn't take on him. But in reality, the person who really needed the vacation was Captain Freeman after being possessed by the spirit of Manuki. So, which is a great name. Gotta love that. But I love how Mariner says, stop putting on these damn masks.
Or stop touching masks.
Yeah, stop touching masks.
Yeah.
Yes. Seems pretty obvious, right?
Yeah, especially the third time.
So, yes. So, yeah, I thought it was a fun episode.
I liked it. It was kind of... It wasn't very like, oh my God, all these things happened episode, but it was kind of very much a day in the life kind of episode, which I really enjoyed.
Yeah.
And it was just fun.
Yeah. So anything else on Room for Growth?
Well, we touched on it, but the Shax and Dr. Tan.
Oh, yes.
Scene, it was funny. I really liked it. Yeah, it was a throwback to Captain Proton with the black and white holodeck. But it was just their interaction and some of the throwbacks. I was like Shax being like, "Yeah, I died, and we never talked about it." Right. That was a good callback to season 1, season 2. Yeah. When Dr. Chana was like, "Do you want to suck on one of my nipples?" I was
yes.
I was like, oh my God, that's right. She's a cat, so she probably has like 8 nipples or something.
Yes, right. And then she tells him the story about how she lost her tail, which I had totally forgotten about and trying to remember if that has ever been brought up before.
Wait, so did she always have just never have a tail?
Apparently so. So
I've never noticed that, and I should have probably looked about
this. So I mean it clearly unless it happened somewhere in the season in one of those stories that we never see that. But I don't recall. So probably
that's one particular detail that
probably the best place to check would be that mission where Mariner and Tendi go on to get her the box.
Yeah, because that's what I'm trying to think of, because she's like, crawling around the box, and I'm trying to remember if
I feel like there's a tail.
Yeah, I remember there being some sort of tail, but maybe it was a short tail and I just don't remember.
Yeah.
Very possible.
Interesting, but they love this violent streak, and her sex name
they like
is,
it rough, basically.
Yes, and her sex name is Diana, right? Diane or Diana, which is hilarious. And I loved how the lower deckers were just all grossed out about this up until Tendi wanting to hear the story about her tail.
What happened with the tail?
Yeah. So, yeah. But yeah, I thought that was a nice effect. And I'd heard it on another podcast, actually on Discovering Trek, and I paid attention to it in this rewatch today. And I love how the light from the tunnel that they're going into actually gives them color, but they stay black and white.
Yeah.
That was really brilliant.
I didn't notice that when I was watching, but I heard about that too. And I was like, oh, that's a small. I like when they have small details like that.
Yeah, that was really, and when
thoughtful.
you pay attention to it, just how they do it, it's actually really cool because it's sort of like the light just illuminates the very edges of their whatever is above the hole, the tunnel. So it's just I thought it was a really well done piece of the episode. But yeah, I can't think of anything else really that stands out from this episode. But
I mean, there was a scene underneath a aeroponics bay or whatever where they were tripping.
Oh, they were tripping.
That's funny.
Yes. Yeah, that was funny. Yeah, this was, I think, the first episode where I just kind of enjoyed the whole episode and wasn't really like, it was just a good episode all around.
Yeah, it was like things happening. It wasn't like there wasn't big narrative momentum. It was like a Seinfeld episode. It was like things happening in life.
Yeah, there are definitely things that are happening. So anything else about Room for Growth?
No, I think we covered most of it.
Cool. Well, I'm excited to talk about the next episode, episode 5, Reflections, which for me is my favorite of the season so far.
I guess Starfleet taught you something after all. No, don't say that. Just hang in there, okay? You're gonna be okay. We just need to engineer a solution. I was always so angry at everything. But you, all that rage is gone. Well, can't we merge and just be both of us? All our memories combined? Nah, then we'd both be gone. Sometimes it's better to grow. I just remembered how we got the implant. Remember. We thought we could do anything. Damn it, no! Come on, keep it together.
This is going to send us back years.
How much do you want to erase?
Everything that has to do with me or the program.
That's a lot. You'll come out with a totally different personality.
I don't care. What do we do if someone asks why he has it?
We programmed that in. He'll think it was elective.
Implant was a cover-up? I guess someone broke even more rules than we did. No, just hang on. We can transfer you into a positronic brain or... No, this is right. Don't lose those friends. Thanks for one last race.
Okay. Well, wait, have you watched the whole season at this point? Did you get...
No, I did. I have watched up to episode 8. I watched episode 8 last week.
Did we get episode 9 and 10?
No, I did. Last time I checked, I did not. I watched 8.
I don't remember seeing a note about that.
So I don't remember seeing. I actually don't remember seeing the note about episode 8. So,
okay.
But yeah. So, but going back and rewatching Reflections, definitely this is by far my favorite of the season so far.
It was a very strong episode, and Mike McMahon wrote it.
Oh, okay. I did not. I didn't catch that piece. But that makes a lot of sense, and I think I love this episode because it carries forward some things that we've seen in season 1 and 2 and gives them a little more beef and we learn about a little bit more. Obviously we learn a lot more about Rutherford, but we also trying to think who else did we learn more about? Or
we kind of teased Mariner, like in terms of where her head might be at in terms of her future in Starfleet, which I think is actually good.
And that sort of happens at the end of the episode, right?
It does, but it also does make sense given her current trajectory of the season where she's kind of coming back into conflict with her role within Starfleet and her being assigned under
Ransom.
Thank you.
Yep.
Oh my God.
Yep.
It's late. assigning a ransom and her kind of thinking about, or kind of getting teased with other potential career trajectories, outside of Starfleet.
Yep. No, definitely. The other piece that I really enjoyed about this is Boimler. Like we see bold Boimler again, or we saw him last episode, but we saw him.
Yeah, I mean, it was like he was like, "I'm bold Boimler." We're like, okay, like I don't recall bold Boimler being mentioned in the last 2 episodes, but that's fine.
Yeah. But I feel like Boimler going off the going crazy was great to see that. Like, and also to see him and Ransom at the end of the episode. Walking, and Ransom was kind of proud of him. And he said, let's have a drink, nice. And you can tell me all about it. So that was really cool. So, but the main push of this episode, really, I mean, it is a little bit about Mariner. I mean, a lot about Mariner and Boimler being stuck at this school fair, for lack of better words. But we get to see Rutherford's pre or during Starfleet Academy self and who he is now. And this whole idea of like the idea that the his implant was elective, which was really interesting to learn and to see how that all works out and ends.
Right.
I thought it was really great. We still don't know why or who is behind it. But I like that tease, and I hope that we get to see that next season or even later this season, maybe. But I hope that they'll continue to build off of this and that it'll give Rutherford something exciting either next season to kind of focus on or whatever. So, but I really liked seeing this other side of Rutherford. Young Rutherford, as it were. Yes. Very angry, very rough around the edges.
Yes. And I kind of want to know more about his story, like young Rutherford's story and why he was so angry. And sure, a lot of young people are angry, but you usually don't really get the sense that young cadets in Starfleet are pissed off and angry at the world, but apparently Rutherford was. So I am curious as to what led him when he was in his youth to that point where he was so angry at everyone and everything.
Yeah, it makes you kind of wonder how he got into Starfleet Academy with that kind of attitude, and how he stayed in the academy.
And because as we know, Starfleet's very selective.
Yeah.
So usually, like the cadets that we see in Star Trek, they're not necessarily happy-go-lucky, but there is a certain level of unbridled enthusiasm about Starfleet's mission and what it stands for. So it was like, why is he so pissed off? Like, what was the catalyst that led him to that point?
And as you were saying that, I actually had an idea about this. I'm wondering if his dad wasn't in Starfleet, and this was his dad who somehow allowed him to do all this, like. And it would be very appropriate because I think it would tie back into the Delta Flyer and Tom Paris and Admiral Paris's relationship.
Oh, that'd be interesting.
So it'd be an interesting parallel to have those two things kind of, so whether he's a captain or whatever his father might be, but definitely I feel like that might be a cool way to see Rutherford's past a little bit more. So
I hope we get more of that. I feel that we will, even though young Rutherford has been, I guess, erased more or less.
Right.
I'm hoping that we'll get more about his story once we kind of reveal what the whole conspiracy is, or like what the experiment was or whatever. Because there were flashes when towards the end, and then there was a shadowy person A was like, like we're gonna lose all this work we put in or something like that. Was it something along those lines?
Yep, right.
It's like, was he involved in something, or part of like some conspiracy or cover up, or
maybe it was
some
Section 31
experiment, or who knows?
Yeah. Yeah, so I really hope that we get to see more of that either later this season or definitely in season 4, which I know Mike McMahon is actively writing.
And did you notice that because young Rutherford was showing, how he did races and the
Yeah.
Devron poster?
I saw the Devron poster.
I was like, oh yeah, the Devron system. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
there are a lot of Easter eggs in this one, particularly in the show, not the show floor or whatever you call it, like with those booths. There were
there are
the collectors from TNG. There were I don't know what the name of the aliens are. They from Move Along Home, the gamers or whatever.
Gamers, yep.
And Boimler is like, stop trapping people in your games or like whatever.
Yes.
It was hilarious.
Yeah, there were, every group that Boimler gets mad at, there's some sort of like connection.
Yeah.
And obviously, I can't remember her name because they show it in the captions, but the archaeologist next to her is she's very much like not Lita, who am I thinking of?
Vosh?
Vosh, thank you. Yeah, she's very Vosh.
She was very Vosh like, yeah.
So I like that kind of callback, and she steals the Grand Nagus's staff, right?
Yeah,
to return to the Grand Nagus, I guess. So, which who would be the Grand Nagus at that point? Is it
Nog?
Mook? Is it Nog?
Well, Nog was just made Grand Nagus, I think, in this timeline, probably like 5-6 years ago, maybe.
Yeah. So
it's probably still Nog.
Yeah. So that was sort of interesting as well. So just, it was a fun episode, but
Petra is
Petra. Okay.
I did like, that Petra, it was funny because Petra kept on calling Mariner Starfleet.
Yes.
And Mariner is like the least Starfleet out of the lower deckers.
Yes.
And
she is.
She kept on egging her and kept on calling her that. And which is ironic because I think that's why by the end it's like, we get these hints that like, is Mariner going to stay in Starfleet or is she going to pursue something else?
Yeah, she was definitely pressing the buttons of Mariner for sure. Yeah.
But it's funny because Mariner at the same time, she came to Starfleet's defense, like obviously she shouldn't blow up like Boimler, but
right.
She was kind of like, trying to, push back on Petra and what she was saying. Mm-hmm. And like, no, like, Starfleet does a lot good, blah, 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 whatever. And obviously, and then Boimler blows up. But yeah. I'm interested to see where Mariner's journey this season kind of takes her. And they're obviously planting seeds for.
Yeah, I felt like that. I didn't. So I thought it was. This was in this last rewatch, which was just a couple of hours ago. That's when I think I picked it up the most. Was like, oh, now I'm seeing. I can see that this is leading somewhere, and I feel like we are going to Mariner's going to make a decision at the end of this season about her future, right. And so, and I, knowing a couple of other details about the upcoming episodes, I think that's going to be a theme across many characters. So, so yeah. But yeah, I finally picked it up at the end of this rewatch, and I was like, I knew she saved the contact, and I was like, okay, but this time watching it, I was like, yeah, this is leading somewhere. Mike McMahon does not just put things into episodes for the sake of putting things into episodes. So I think there's a little bit of foreshadowing here. Right. Although whether she chooses to leave or whether she's kicked out by Ransom is TBD, but I'm hoping that it's more like her choice and not like if she does go that way. If she does decide to leave, I hope it's a proactive choice on her part and not, her and Ransom get into like a
that's a path that she's making herself.
Yeah. I'm hoping that this, so we'll see. I don't know the answer to this. So I have not seen the whole season. So, but yeah, this is the first time I sort of picked up on that, and I'm like, okay, yeah, this could be a potential thing with her.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, and especially given that Boimler was the one that left the booth and got into trouble with Ransom, not Mariner.
Mm-hmm.
And they also got a bunch of people to sign up because of Boimler's explosive, like the guy who walks up and says, "I want to have the confidence that he does."
Yeah.
So, but speaking of which, I had this thought a minute ago, and I wanted to share it. So we learned a lot about Rutherford's background, or we learned more about it. The one person we really don't know a lot about, except for the fact that his family owns a raisin farm, right? Whatever, is Boimler. We didn't really see. We know Mariner's family. We've seen some family from Tendi.
A little bit, yeah.
We've seen some backstory now on Rutherford, but we really haven't, other than him at the beginning of the season working the raisin farm. We have not seen anything about Boimler's family. So I think it'd be interesting to see something along that lines.
Yeah, it's interesting because I feel there's still a lot we don't know about them. And Tendi hasn't had much to do this whole season, like up to this point.
Yeah, they keep on intuiting about her becoming a senior bridge officer, which I assume would be Alpha Shift. That's what it sounds like. It would be different than what Boimler and Mariner are on, I guess. But yeah, I also it's a support ship, so having a science officer on the bridge at all times doesn't seem like it would fit in with the mission parameters of a
I don't know.
But who knows? Yeah, so yeah, I would say Tendy's probably the this was a big Rutherford episode.
Yeah, Tendi is a little bit underused this season, so hopefully we'll have more with her.
I mean, she did have her moment 2 weeks ago, right, with the whole science, when the mines on the planet, she was up in starting her training with Mig.
Oh yeah, you're right.
So she was sort of the star.
Yeah, there's a little bit for
half
her.
Of the show for that episode, mining the mines.
Yes, mines. Yes.
Yeah, we'll kind of see what happens, and I was cooking, but I did catch the mid-season Ready Room, which covered which had Tawny Newsome in it, and I think the most interesting part of that interview is her talking about her and Jack being on the set of Strange New Worlds and how different that is from.
Oh yeah, I'm excited for that. That's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, I am too. I'm super excited about season 2, Strange New Worlds. I would say I'm even more excited about that than I am about Picard season 3. But I already know how you feel. I know how you feel about Picard, so
Well, it's one of those things where, hope is that phrase like?
Yes, I know.
Refreshes something. What is it called? You're good at these.
Hope remains eternal.
Yes, hope springs eternal. Hope springs eternal.
Yes.
So that's my relationship with Picard.
Yeah.
It's every season. It's like, oh, they're changing things up. They're new showrunner. Okay, great.
Yes.
I have hope that it's going to be good. And
you have that hope about Picard. I would not say you have that hope about Discovery.
No, I mean, we've done so many bad seasons of Discovery already that I'm kind of over it.
Yes.
And honestly,
I understand.
The description, I don't know. I don't think we talked about at length, but the description that came out of Star Trek Day was not encouraging.
What was it? I must have missed it amongst all of the exciting news that was announced on Star Trek Day. I must have missed that one bit of news about Discovery.
Season 5?
Yeah, season 5. Was it even announced at Star Trek Day?
There was just Wilson Cruz did the tour.
Oh, the walkthrough. Yeah, the tour. Yep.
Yeah.
Hi, Wilson. By the way, hi.
We love your show.
We love you. We love you. And Paul. You and Paul.
I must
Anthony
find this blurb.
Okay, well, you keep searching for it. So anyway, hope springs eternal for Picard. I'm glad to hear you say that, but I am most excited about Strange New Worlds. And in fact, I started rewatching season 1 again. Yeah, I watched the first 2 episodes again. I really love the premiere. I think the premiere is really excellent. Definitely on the level of Emissary for me, for sure. But
Okay, I found it.
all right, I knew you would find it. While
Captain Burnham and the crew of the USS Discovery uncover a mystery that sends them on an epic adventure across the galaxy to find an ancient power whose very existence has been deliberately hidden for centuries. That could have been season 4.
Well, no.
An epic adventure across the galaxy to find an ancient power whose existence has been deliberately hidden for centuries.
Well, what is the archaeology? Do you remember? Oh man, the gates. Remember the gates from the novel series that came out of an episode of Next Generation?
Iconian?
Yeah, like the Iconians. That could be the Iconians. It could be something. I feel like that has.
But there are others on the hunt as well. Dangerous foes who are desperate to claim the prize for themselves and stop at nothing to get it.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Well, that's more interesting than I thought it would be.
It literally, you can probably apply this to season 4 and it would probably be the same.
That was like a disaster. This sounds more
but they're trying to find an ancient power that is
Yeah, so hopefully it's not going.
And it's a race. It's a race to get there first.
Of course, it's always a race, right?
But that's what I'm talking about. It's just like it just feels recycled, and this did not give me any confidence that season 5 is going to be better than season 4 at all.
I have a little bit more confidence, but yeah, I can see where your skepticism lies.
I'm very skeptical.
I hope it's not related to like something that everyone needs to save the universe again. That would be very rote and very. So hopefully it's.
But it would be on brand.
Oh,
yeah.
I literally could hear you saying those words seconds before you said them.
Yep.
So, yes, I do.
Okay.
All right.
You're better than.
Well, so we've talked for a little over an hour. We've caught up on all the Star Trek news. Anything last from reflections before we bid our dear listeners adieu?
No, this is a great episode. I really liked it. It's, we don't always get mythology building episodes like this for Lower Decks. So whenever they do come along, I'm really into it.
Yeah, I would agree that this sets up some interesting future potentials.
I don't think every episode needs to be like this, but
no.
When they do drop these big hints about these characters, I'm all for it.
Yep, I would agree. Definitely agree. Yeah. So, all right. Well, I'm going to take a minute to talk about our sponsor, Fansets.
Yes, Fansets.
Fansets is the leading pin collectible, and they have over 400 Star Trek pins. The latest ones, which I know everyone is very excited about, the Confederation badges from Star Trek Picard Season 2 are there. Please be careful and do not slit anybody's throat with these.
Oh, God.
But no, they're not that sharp, I'm sure. But obviously we saw that happen in Picard Season 2. But check those out. There's also Rafi Musiker Series 4 Women of Trek pin to check out, as well as all the deltas from Strange New Worlds. And other Women of Trek, including Michael Burnham, Jet Reno, Shauna from the original series, Tendi, and of course all the pins from Star Trek Prodigy, which is starting up in a month from now. So head on over to Fansets, put a bunch of pins in your card. Don't forget those memorial pins from Strange New Worlds as well. You also have the Bajorn Militia badge, which is also considered part of, I'm assuming that's part of the Delta's Done Right collection. But head on over, check them out. They've got a ton more pins that you can go through and take a look at. So many great pins. And if you put more than $30 in your cart worth of pins, which is pretty easy, picking up just two of these deltas would do that for you. You are going to get free shipping in the US. And if you use the code TrekGeeks, all one word, you're going to get 10% off your order. And we want to thank Fansets and their amazing team for supporting the Trek Geeks podcast network and Deep Space Pride.
Thanks, Fansets. All right. I think that does it for this episode. We would love to hear from you on social media or on email. And we would love to hear your thoughts on these two Lower Decks episodes. You can email us at deepspacepride@gmail.com, or you can reach us on Twitter and Instagram at deepspacepride. And if you have any thoughts as to what we should be talking about during our 100th episode, which is again coming up very soon, let us know.
Yeah, we are actively trying to get a guest star to join us.
I'm not holding my breath. But
I'm not either.
But I guess given that we are now on a bi-weekly schedule, we have a month to figure it out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Here's hoping.
Here's hoping.
And I have a bunch of stuff to give away too. So we're going to give away some stuff on our 100th episode as well.
We do. What is a swag that I do not know about?
The DVDs that we get.
Oh, did you sign up for it?
Yes, I do have that. Yes, I did sign up for Discovery Season 4. We'll see if we get it. But I do have a bunch of, I think I have Season 3. I have, I have a bunch of.
I should have signed up for it just so I could burn it. But there we are.
Well, we have a bunch of DVDs to give away. So maybe we'll have a few other extras. So stay tuned for that. Probably we'll announce that for episode 99 next time. So come back and listen to us again next in 2 weeks.
In 2 weeks.
In 2 weeks when we get back together and we talk about Lower Decks and probably no more anniversaries because this is the season for anniversaries.
No, I don't think so.
I don't expect any news to really drop. So yeah, I guess we'll just probably have, maybe we'll catch up a little bit with Deanna and
we should. People want to know what's happening in our lives.
Yes.
I want to know what's happening in my life. What's happening?
You want to know with your life.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. So thanks for listening, everybody. We'll see you back here in 2 weeks.
Bye, everyone.
Deep Space Pride is a production of Coconut Media Works. Executive producers Bill Smith and Dan Davidson. For more great Star Trek discussion, discover the other shows of the Trek Geeks podcast network at trekgeeks.com or find us in Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcast app.